Anyways, these are both great cameras. Man, I've been so busy in the past few days. I was really looking forward to my day off, which is today, and that's why I can make this video. I mean, like if you're watching this, it means I finished it, and you're watching it. Anyways, it's about the Canon 90D and the Canon R6, and I hope you will enjoy it. Just after the intro. What's up guys, Dan Forlani here and welcome back to a new video. If you're new to this channel, there's one thing you need to know. I make videos with and about the Canon 90D, the Canon M50, the Canon EOS R and the Canon R6. What am I gonna talk about in this video? Well, I guess last week or 2 weeks ago? Can't remember. Well, anyway, I made a video showing you the 1080 and the 4K of both the Canon 90D and the Canon R6. Well, in this video I'm gonna do pretty much the same thing, just with a big difference. That while my previous video with these two cameras was shot outside, like in a park, in the sun, and with some clouds, so with the light changing every 2 seconds, and also with an ND filter that actually doesn't really compromise the quality of the footage, because I use very good ND filters, and check out the links down below to see the filters I use. And anyway, this one is gonna be indoor, like in my kitchen, like here. So in a more controlled environment where I can use like studio lights here. Right now I'm filming with a Canon R6 and the 16 to 35 millimeters with the adapter, the Canon adapter. And I'll be using this lens on both cameras. And of course I'll try to do the framing like in a similar way. Because there is to say that while the Canon R6 is a full frame camera, so if I put the 16 to 35 millimeters, you're gonna have a field of view of 16 to 35 millimeters, a full frame. The Canon 90D is a crop sensor camera, and it crops the image, the footage, times 1.6. So if I use this lens, for example, at 16 millimeters, the field of view of the Canon 90D with this lens would be like a 28-ish, something like that. But as I said, I will try to frame it in a similar way so that you see pretty much the same things. So let's start right away with the 1080 on the Canon 90D and the Canon R6. So what do you think about it? Leave a comment down below, hit the like button, and subscribe if you ain't already. And check the links in the description to see all my gear stuff and things. My gear. And check the link to Epidemic Sound if you want 1 month of awesome music and great sound effects for free. Now let's see the 4K of the Canon 90D and the 4K on the Canon R6. And for what concerns the Canon 90D, it's gonna be the regular 4K, not the crop one. We're gonna see the crop one later. I would like to underline that on the Canon 90D, when shooting in 4K regular mode, there's no crop at all, besides the 1.6 crop for being the 90D crop sensor camera. And for what concerns the Canon R6, the crop in 4K is really almost undetectable, like tiny little bit. So let's check it out. Okay, now let's see the 4K cropped of the Canon 90D. So what do you think about it? Again, leave a comment down below and hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. So the 4K cropped of the Canon 90D is supposed to give us a little bit more quality, and I would like to hear from you. What do you think about it? Did you see any major improvement in the quality or not? Anyways, these are both great cameras, and the only reason why I've been using the Canon R6 much more these days, these weeks, this month, it's just because it's the last one I bought. But that doesn't mean that the Canon 90D is a bad camera. Not at all. I love it too. About the footage you saw, on the Canon R6 I shot in C-Log, actually C-Log 3, because it gives me more flexibility to color grade it, and it's also a great help for the dynamic range. The Canon 90D doesn't have C-Log, but I downloaded and installed Technicolor CineStyle, which is a kind of a flat profile. It's not really like C-Log, but it does its job. It's not bad. I can get some flexibility with it. Of course, much more flexibility than when I use default picture styles. Anyway, check out my video about default picture styles versus C-Log, or in the case of the 90D, versus Technicolor CineStyle. Alright, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button and subscribe if you aren't already. And I'll see you guys in the next video.